I collect VHS tapes. It's a stupid hobby because I don't even own a VCR. And I've got a bunch of them, but I don't see them as just tapes. I see them as artwork. So I want to build a shelf for all my tapes, but I figured if I'm going to build a shelf, I should do it with a little style. There's a company online that makes the back end of a DeLorean as a shelf, but it's tiny. It's like this big, and the cubbies are just for putting like little Matchbox cars in. And it's like $500. And I was thinking I could build one for $100, build it twice as big and have my lights work. And it's gonna be a shelf for all my favorite videos. Let's do it. So I'm gonna build the whole thing out of a 1/2-inch sheet of MDF. When I start building stuff, I don't usually have a plan. I just like to start and just see where it takes me. It's more fun not to have a plan. It's more spontaneous. I didn't have a plan when I started my Pee-wee bike or my AT-AT or my marriage. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. So now that I'm done with all the power tools, I need to go over to my neighbor's house and apologize for all the noise. Okay, I just need to Bondo all the holes and gaps, sand it down, caulk it, and it's ready for primer. So now it's time to paint. I didn't film much of the painting because it's not that fun to paint. It's just kind of stressful and tedious. Like building is fun, but painting is just a pain. So I cut holes in the back. I'm gonna paint it red and orange and put the lights in the back so the light will shine through and then it'll look like brake lights. Here's a fun little fact about that red spray paint. That is the same red spray paint that I used to paint my hoverboard. I don't know if that's a fun fact, but that is a shameless plug if you missed that episode where I built the hoverboard. I had Biff in that episode. Got it all spray painted, let's see how it looks. If you squint your eyes, it looks all right. You know, like Courtney Love in '98. Okay, now I need to paint all the little details, like the tie tread, mufflers. The little pipes above the license plate I built out of wood, but I hated it. It just looked flat and it didn't look as good as I wanted it to look. So I got actual plumbing parts and cut them in half and then stuck them on. Gave it a little more depth and a little more texture to the back of it. Then I drilled some holes to feed the rope lights through. Now I just need to hang it on the wall. This thing weighs a ton, so you have to make sure you hit a stud. So the license plate I just attached with magnets. So you just pull that off, reach in, and switch the lights on. It's also a good hiding place. I could hide some weapons, the good candy, or my sports almanac. It's a good spot. Nobody's gonna think to look there. So I really wanted Christopher Lloyd to be on this episode, but on Cameo he's $500, but I couldn't bring myself to spend that much money to have him on. I was so proud of myself for being frugal and not having Christopher Lloyd on that I rewarded myself with a hoverboard signed by Christopher Lloyd. So the shelf only holds 38 tapes. So then I really had to choose like my favorite 38 tapes out of all my collection. So I want to keep my shelf just 80s movies, but Edward Scissorhands is made in 1990. It's one of my top 5 movies of all time because it's not about a man with scissor hands. It is secretly Tim Burton's autobiography. Tim Burton grew up in Southern California in the 60s with like bright colors and hippies and music and lots of life. He was just a little goth kid that was an artist. He didn't relate to anything in the suburbs of Southern California. He was misunderstood, but he had like this beauty inside of him. So Edward Scissorhands is just Tim Burton as a teenager. I don't know if Tim Burton killed anyone, but he did kill Anthony Michael Hall's career, casting him as a douchey character. So kind of. Since Edward Scissorhands wasn't made in the 80s, I'm not gonna put it on the shelf. I'll save that for when I build my Shaggin' Wagon shelf for all my 90s movies. And that's it! And I am so excited how it turned out. But it's not done yet. One more thing. Okay, if you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel. Got good stuff. I will see you next time and we will learn a kickflip, finally!